We have these evenings over the next weeks to reflect on this text, the Dhammapada, which I suspect that many of you are familiar with. For me, it's a delight to teach on this text. It's one that I keep very close to hand. It's one that has enormous meaning to me. It's a text that I find so inspiring in a way so very different from many of the other texts. I think that the Dhammapada is one of the most read and most loved of the Buddhist texts. The way in poetic verse form that the core teachings of the Buddha are captured in a language that we can all relate to. And I do feel it's really worth taking time to reflect on each verse, to appreciate its profundity and also the implications for our lives. The verses in the Dhammapada really describe a personal and a universal landscape of our inner world. But the teachings in the Dhammapada also offer such clear and unambiguous guidance on how to live a life imbued with integrity, with kindness, with joy, and with wisdom. The message, I think, one of the central messages that comes through in the Dhammapada is the offering of both a path and a very real possibility of profound happiness and peace and liberation.
Thank you so much, Christina, for inviting me to be part of this session. The text, really, the Dhammapada, is something that's also really close to my heart. I got a copy from one of my teachers many years ago. And, just seeing you and recognizing that some of you have written where you're coming from. I'm in Denmark, and I can see that we're coming in from many corners of the world. I really is reminded of that this is very much the spirit of this text also, that it's something that people have gathered around over generations, over centuries, but it's a text that's translated into so many different languages. The Danish version of this text has a drawing on the front of the Buddha by a Tibetan Lama. And that, when I saw that, I was also reminded of how this is really a text that's a collection of verses of wisdom that's respected by practitioners and by all the different Buddhist traditions. So this is really something that's quite wonderful to gather around, connecting and reflecting. And I just have this image of how this is something that has been kept alive since the verses were collected, that it's not just something that has been found and then we are opening it for the first time, but it's really something that has been kept alive because people have been practicing with it. And many of you have been studying it, have been living your life with it. When we've been receiving Dharma teachings, talks, often there's been quotes from this. So this is something that's really alive, and now the time have come where we sit down together and we engaged in it, and I think that that's just a really wonderful opportunity to dive into something that's really timeless and discuss how does that resonate with us now.